Eyesight is there, the high drive, deep center, go, 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 we're out of here, say ya, playa.
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood, Caladros, the 3-2, swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A dog pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks.
And welcome aboard here on this Tuesday afternoon. We've got Tuesday night basketball here in the Tri-County Conference in the quarterfinal round, the first round of Flight A of this annual jamboree in the Tri-County Conference. It's the Penns Grove Red Devils and the Kingsway Dragons. I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by David Cohen to my left tonight. It should be a good one as Penns Grove is coming in looking to be the underdogs. They're the 7th seed in this tournament. Kingsway, the number 2, and all first-round games are being played tonight with the exception of one. Highland Washington Township over in Flight B was played on Friday night after a late reseeding by the conference, and we should be at Clayton and the winner of Cumberland and Shalleck when they play on Thursday the 20th. But with that being said, in the Flight A of this tournament, it really is the best of the best in the Tri-County, with Kingsway marking their first 20-win campaign since the 09 and 10 season. And Brian Kuzmic could not be more elated about his crew. They are deep. It is a depth-heavy squad, and it's a team that doesn't have a clear superstar. Desir Williams-Bay is the leading scorer, but what about Kai Tolley in the center position? What about Reese Tavares or Micah Hart, some of the other starters? What about J.D. Johnson off the bench? This team has so much versatility that it's able to be what it is because there is no clear superstar. Everyone contributes in the same way, nobody gets out ahead, and everybody helps the team in the end of the day. And talking with some of the Kingsway folks here before the night and talking with some of the Penns Grove folks, this game could be closer than some people think on paper. Penns Grove is coming in. Remember, they had a 6-game winning streak in the beginning of January, playing some heavy South Jersey Group 1 opponents, but they're coming in as the underdogs. It's a good Group 1 facing a good Group 4. The advantage should go to Kingsway, but let's see how this first quarter goes. We saw them versus Washington Township earlier this year, actually back in December, where they held Washington Township scoreless for an entire quarter. And then they lost to Camden Eastside in an Olympic and Tri-County crossover earlier this month in a game that was certainly a controversial one at that. But Camden Eastside came out of this gym with a win and one of 4 Kingsway losses this year. They've hit a bit of a rough patch. So Kingsway's trying to come back in now that they've been marked as the 6th seed in South Jersey Group 4 with the tournaments that were just released today. They'll be playing number 11 seed Howell in the first round. Meanwhile, Penns Grove is going to be home to Burlington City in the 8-9 game. We'll be right back in just a moment as both teams are going to get introduced and they'll play the national anthem, and then we've got Tri-County Conference Flight A basketball here in just a moment on DWB. Here from Kingsway Regional High School, the Penns Grove Red Devils, led by Coach Damian Ware, getting introduced tonight. The first five tonight will be for Penns Grove, as it'll be Karan Caesar as one of the guards, a football star who rushed for over 1,200 rushing yards for the Red Devils in a season where they missed the South Jersey Group 1 playoffs. Saw them twice last year. Roman Gibson as well, along with Jameer Horace, a junior. Not a single senior in this Penns Grove starting lineup. Brandon Robbins, a sophomore, and Antoine Robinson taking over the last spot. 2 sophomores and 3 juniors for the Red Devils, who have been almost the most consistent team in South Jersey just because they haven't really been able to get ahead for that long. They're 11-11 this year with a 7-3 record in the Tri-County Diamond. Let's listen in to these Kingsway introductions.
And now the starting lineup for your Kingsway Dragons. Starting at guard, a 5'10" senior number 5, Reese Tavares. At the other guard, a 6-foot junior number 3, Makai Hart. At forward, a 6'1" senior number 1, Desir Williams Bay. At the other forward, a 6'5" junior number 12, TJ Collier. And at center, a 6'6" senior number 42, Kai Tully.
All right.
The Dragons.
Good stuff from Kingsway there. They're 20-4 this year. They'll turn the house lights back on. There's your starting lineups. And that's one of the big differences between this Penns Grove team and this Kingsway team is a difference in age. 3 juniors and 2 seniors for Penns Grove. I'm sorry, and 2 sophomores for Penns Grove. Kingsway led by 3 seniors, Maurice Tavares Jr., Desir Williams Bay, and Kai Tully,
Please stay off the court at all times.
the 6'6" senior.
Campus, we have concessions available in the hallway, as well as restrooms located in the rear lobby.
Penns Grove ready to break from their timeout. They'll be in the white jerseys with black and red accents. Kingsway in their classic home black jerseys that we've grown very accustomed to this season with the white numbers, red accents. Sirius from the Alan Parsons 1981 album plays over the public address as we're ready to go. Kingsway 3 games away from a potential Flight 8 championship. Will they face Overbrook in the final? Who will they play? Who knows? They do have to get there first. Kai Tully under the tip for Kingsway. Karan Caesar under it for the Red Devils, and we are underway in the South Gym in Woolwich Township. Micah Hart passes it out to Maurice Tavares Jr., who returns the favor. Moving inside for Tully. Basket no good. And Antoine Robinson picks up a rebound. He'll bring this one coast to coast. See if he can get anything going there. And a travel negates the basket. Penns Grove 7-3 in the Tri-County Diamond Division. Had a 6-game winning streak from January 15th up to January 30th. And in that 6-game winning streak, 5 games were on the road. And that really shows some of the adversity that some of these teams have, is that not only can you win 6 games in a row, but do it with 5 of them on the road. The only game that they actually won at home was versus crosstown rival Woodstown. There's a 3 in the corner from Reese Tavares. And the Dragons are up 3 here in the early going. It's Caesar. Oh, here comes a steal. Here comes a breakaway, all alone with the right-handed lay. With Desir Williams Bay, a 1,000-point scorer for the Dragons, getting himself up in the air for a 5-0 start here in the South Gym. Kingsway's really pressuring with this hard defense to start. Ooh, thought he might have stepped out of bounds for a second there, but he was able to get the save off in time. A couple of passes across the way. Here comes a mid-range floater. That's good from Bay. He's got 4 points so far. And just a minute and 20 seconds in, Penns Grove already getting themselves deep into this one. It's 7-0. It's Robinson moving out to the top of the key, guarded by Tully. Now Caesar with a move, floats it from the elbow, front iron. Rebound by Hart. Ball scrambled, got away, and Horace took a tumble. Ball went out of bounds. Possession will go in the favor of Penns Grove. Or no, it will be Kingsway ball. It'll be inbounded by TJ Collier. Kingsway 20-4 this year, doing themselves quite well. I'll tell you that much. They are red hot this year. 8-0 in the Tri-County Royal Division. They lost their first game of the season to Newman Goretti. As here's a lob, Tolley couldn't finish. And with a 7-0 lead, Kingsway getting a little bit creative with a half-court double press here. Again, these guys are making Penns Grove extremely uncomfortable. Stepping back is Brandon Robbins. He was going to shoot a three and now backpedals all the way back to the volleyball line. He moves back in, guarded by Hart. Feeds it to Robinson, gets swiped at from behind. It'll be Penns Grove ball, and now a handful of subs will come in for the Red Devils. In the ball game now is number 23. Or no, not number 23. No, it is number 23. We don't have a 23 on our roster. Here comes a three. Off the mark. Offensive rebound by Caesar. That ball gets intercepted by Kingsway. Bounce pass. Got pushed from the back, and it went out of bounds. Penns Grove ball. 5:01 left in the first. But Kingsway is making sure that Penns Grove is not feeling good about themselves here in the early going. The defensive pressure has been top-notch, and they've made sure that they haven't, if they've gotten any shots off at all, they haven't been good looks. Crossing over now, Penns Grove returning the favor with a double press in the half court. Again, sectional tournament brackets were released earlier today, as that three is no good from Williams Bay. Penns Grove and Kingsway will both be home teams in their respective first rounders. Penns Grove in Group 1 versus Burlington City. They'll be the 8 seed versus the Blue Devils. It'll be red versus blue in the 8 versus 9 game. What do we got here? It's going to be our first foul of the game. TJ Collier gets called. Kingsway's second loss of the year came on February 2nd after a 15-game winning streak. They lost to PVI, and then they lost to Camden Catholic. Their fourth loss and most recent came to Camden Eastside. This ball goes out of bounds. In the first game we saw with them, they improved to 2-1 with a 57-48 win over Washington Township. Moving across the way, a funky shot, but it goes in. Kingsway last year went 16-12. They made it to the final and, in fact, won the final in Flight B. They beat Woodstown, Deptford, and Clearview to get there. They beat Southern in the first round of South Jersey Group 4, lost to Lenape, the number 1 seed, 56-42. 7-2. Only basket so far has been a funky one from Brandon Robbins from inside. Here's a corner three. Good. Kingsway off and running. It's 10-2. 3:39 left in the first quarter. Caesar in trouble, moving back to Robbins, who has the only basket so far for the Red Devils. Some heavy footwork there, moving back over. Feeding inside. Up, no good. Rebound Tolley. Even when Penns Grove is getting shots off, just seems like they're not in the right rhythm. They're not getting clean looks. And another good floater there from Hart does not make you feel any better about it. It's a 10-point game, and Damian Ware calls a timeout. They trail by 10, and they'll talk it over with 3:05 left in the first quarter, 12-2 in favor of the Dragons. Here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, Kingsway up by 10 points, 12-2 in the early going. Penns Grove called their first timeout of the night. The Tri-County Conference Flight A showcasing 4 games tonight. This is the 7 versus 2. Moving in, blocked. Couldn't get anything there. Kingsway almost got the steal. A palooza of turnovers, took an extra step. Now he moves back out. Another underhand feed. This time it's good. From Costacamps. Williams Bay, bounce pass. Fires it inside. Tully slams. He just postered him in broad daylight. 14-4. Right on top of him. It's kind of an exclamation point for Kingsway in what has been an extremely productive first quarter. They've held Penns Grove to 4 points. Again, we saw in December where they held Washington Township scoreless in the second quarter. They were up, I think it was 20-11 after the first quarter. But then didn't score in the second. Eventually came back for a hard comeback. Here's a deep 3 that's airballed, but Tully, after contact, gets the second chance to go, and it is 16-4. Kingsway seems to have good luck when they're on our networks. They have the second best record of any team on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, as we've got a trapper in the corner for Costacamps. Caesar, again, double guarded. They are not letting this go to bed. Here's a catch and shoot 3 off the mark. Costacamps offensive rebound, can't get the rebound back. And it looks like it will be Penns Grove ball with Costacamps bringing it in with 1:27 left in the first quarter.
Back in for the Red Devils is number 5, Jamil Horace, and number 10, Louis Colon. And in for the
Penns Grove making their 9th appearance on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Their first was on May 23rd, 2023 in a baseball game versus Gloucester. Out into the corner, Kingsway again putting immense pressure on in what has been a light first quarter in terms of fouls. Only 2 team fouls total, 1 against each team. Hold on, travel will be called. Kingsway in their 12th appearance, they are 7-4, with their first being on March 22nd, 2022, in a scrimmage in baseball between Audubon and Kingsway. Bill Alvaro behind the desk, working the clock for the Dragons this evening, as there's under a minute left. Man, that's a tough break. They originally called it Penns Grove ball. They instead overturn it, and it will be Kingsway ball. I mean, this has just been a tough first quarter for Penns Grove, down by 12. Still a lot can change, but Penns Grove is making sure that whatever pressure that is being applied to them, they are doing the same, and that's probably what that first time out was for. Travel called.
traveling violation against Kingsway.
Kingsway in their first game of the season lost to Newman Goretti 82-50. They're no strangers to tough non-conference opponents. They beat Morristown 57-47 in the Jimmy V showcase. Well, they're chanting J.D. Johnson's name for a reason. He just checked in. On the floor for Kingsway at the moment is Luka Kuzmic, Desir Williams Bay, Abdoulaye Berete, Along with that, J.D. Johnson. Talia is not on the floor, but instead their backup center, Owen Ellison. Get a blocking foul. Or no, not a blocking foul, sorry.
Foul on the floor is charge number 20, J.D. Johnson.
Johnson gets hit with a foul, but it was not in the act of shooting, so that'll be the second against Kingsway. Trying to feed it out. Basket, no good. And Johnson picks it up. He'll bring it back. 22 seconds left. Feeds it back to Bay. Back to Kuzmic. Johnson to the right side of the Kingsway logo. Got 13 seconds and counting. 9 seconds. Ellison back out to the corner of the volleyball line. 4 seconds left. Johnson moving in from the elbow. Back out. Ellison for a buzzer-beating three to end the quarter. Doesn't get it. Got the shot off. Not in time. Shot didn't go anyway. A hard first quarter for Penns Grove, but a prosperous one for Kingsway. They lead by 12. They hold the Red Devils to 4 points in the first 8. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Let's welcome onto the court.
Second quarter ready to go here from Kingsway. The Dragons have been a staunch defensive contender here. Oh my gosh, they're running out of ideas for chants already. It's the second quarter and they're already chanting my name. They should be chanting everybody else's name out there. Here's a scramble. Travel called.
Traveling violation against the Red Devils.
In some Hawaiian attire tonight. I sure wish I was in Hawaii right now. It's 35 degrees, I think even less back home. I know I started my car this morning and it was like 8 degrees, the real feel. Certainly was not a great feeling getting out there. Here's a three from Johnson.
J.D. Johnson for two.
Oh, it did just count for 2. My bad. They put 3 up on the scoreboard, but they took it away. Now it's 18-4. That was close, though. Foot was on the line. Here's a 3 for real this time. It's off. Shot made by Brandon Robbins. Johnson's going to go in for another one. Now it's back out to Kuzmic. Brady Shelton on the floor here for Kingsway. Travel called.
Traveling violation against Kingsway.
For as much as Kingsway has been really good in this game, both teams have been really sloppy in their play. I mean, a lot of travels, not a lot of fouls, but we have seen so many turnovers that you almost have to stop and ask, what are we doing? I mean, it's, you know, Kingsway is a very good team, but right now I don't think they're playing their best basketball by any means. I think they have to, first of all, they have to utilize the fact that there's no shot clock. You're up by 16 points. You've already, you've already done well enough for yourself. I think that they need to focus on not turning the ball over, because the more opportunities they give Penns Grove, whether or not they make the shots, it'll put the pressure on. How about this? And listen to this crowd. They were loving it as Penns Grove missed a couple in a row. Back into the corner for Kuzmic. Now over the head to Berete. Here is Ellison for 3. It's red hot in the red gym. 21-4. Penns Grove back against the wall here in the second. More pressure by Johnson. Penns Grove in neither the first or second quarter has scored in the first 2 minutes of a quarter. Foul will be called. It'll be the first foul of the quarter. Beirate gets hit with his first foul. They'll check him out. And coming in to replace him will be TJ Collier, the 6'6" junior forward. 186 points this year, 117 rebounds. Put up a season best 23-3 in Kingsway's 65-54 loss to PVI on February 2nd. Stopping and now moving into the corner for Robinson. Moves out to the elbow, tries to find somebody there. Again, more trouble back near the midcourt line with a standoff with Johnson. And now a foul will be called on Penns Grove. Think we had an illegal screen? Yeah, illegal screen called there. But again, I mean, both of these teams are just running into a lot of mistakes. Regardless of the scoreboard right now, I think that Kingsway can kind of afford to make these mistakes because, you know, they're up by a lot. But at the same time, let's say, first of all, let's bring up the bracket from Flight A. Because the 4 games that are being played, you've got in Flight A, you've got Overbrook, Deptford. That actually should be a really good game. Then you've got Timber Creek, Woodstown, this game, and then the 5 versus 4, which is GC and Triton. Here's another 3 off the mark. So if you look at these 8 teams that they're playing, it's a good chance that Kingsway might be playing, potentially they could be playing Woodstown, they could be playing Timber Creek. I've seen Woodstown and Timber Creek this year. They are not teams that will allow you to make this many mistakes without consequence. I think Kingsway's getting lucky because Penns Grove is running into their own mistakes, but Timber Creek is a very well-polished team, especially in Flight A, and if these guys get to the semifinals and they play them, I think that they would have to watch out and they'd have to play a much more polished game of basketball, in my opinion. Antoine Robinson has this one. Under 5 to play in the half. It is blocked and taken in by Ellison. Penns Grove only scored 4 points in the first. They have been held scoreless in the second as Johnson rolls this one back out. Ball gets swiped away. Ellison almost had a hand on it. It hits off the bleacher. It'll be Penns Grove ball. Kuzmic disagrees. I don't know. I think that was the right call. 4:37 left. Again, Penns Grove is a very fast team. As that's a good basket there on a rattler by Robinson. I mean, if they're going to get anything going here, I think that what they got to do is they have to use their speed. Penns Grove does not have the biggest team. Their biggest player is probably Robinson, and maybe if that, another contender for the job would be number 10. Which I apologize, I have to look at my roster again. That would be Luis Colon. Probably in terms of height, it might be Colon. Or it could be number 33 or number 34, Michon Brantley, the freshman. But they're not getting a lot of playing time. So if they're not going to beat you in size, they have to beat you in speed. We do get a foul called here on Hart. Hart in the motion will give us our first free throw shots of the game. Don't forget, on Saturday, we kick off the college baseball season here in South Jersey with a doubleheader between the Immaculata Spartans and the Rutgers-Camden Scarlet Raptors. Game 1 at 12, Game 2 scheduled for 3 p.m.
Back in for Kingsway's number 1, Williams Bay, number 5, Tavares, and number 42, Talley.
He made his first, 22-6. Hart, the junior guard, makes his second. Hart, a career 131 for 189 at the charity stripe. A career 69% free throw shooter. Out into the corner, daringly close to the baseline. And daringly close to being out of bounds. He turns the ball over to TJ Collier. He brings this one up right away and rams it off the glass for 2. Oh, look out. A bad inbound. Basket good from Maurice Tavares Jr. and Damian Ware calls a timeout as Kingsway has taken full control of their home floor here in the first round of Flight A. It's 27-6 as Kingsway scores 4 points in 4 seconds. We'll be right back. Second quarter here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, 3:19 left in the second. This broadcast brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. If you like those odds, you can book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex, 614 Lambs Road in Pittman. Here's a three from the corner, no good. I don't think Penns Grove is going to win this game off of three-point shots. They're just not a team that shoots a lot of threes. And against a very tall team with Kai Talley back in the game, he's a good perimeter defender. He's a good defender from inside. He's one of those guys that will just deny all of those opportunities, or at the very least, make them a lot more difficult for you in those shot contests. Floater, no good. Kai Talley almost brought the house down for a second time. Robinson in trouble, and he will get fouled. And that's another thing, you know, Kingsway now picking up their second foul of the quarter. If they can draw Penns Grove into some fouls, that will help them more, but the vice versa is also true. If Penns Grove draws Kingsway into some fouls, that could kind of mess up their mojo a little bit, and if they get the bonus, that would certainly inch the lead, because Penns Grove is a good team from the free throw line this year, and they've shot a lot of free throws. But like I said, Penns Grove is kind of doing a mano-a-mano situation. You're double guarding, I'll double guard you back. Here we go. Hart, right-handed leg, good. He crashes into the boards. And now another steal. Another right-handed lay is good for Micah Hart. I mean, these guys are just not in the rhythm right now. 31-6. Kingsway is just beating them at every turn. But this is what happens when you run into a team like 20-4 Kingsway. They don't mess around. Three ball off the mark. Second chance, no good. Third chance, blocked. How about it? Back inside, ball gets rattled away. Talley goes in for it. Caesar is the one who hangs onto it. Now another open look for three. This time, also no good. Rebound by Williams Bay. And again, that's just one of those very unfortunate sequences as Talley gets fouled. It looks, no, they're going to say it's out of bounds. No foul call. Will Roy comes in for the Red Devils. Inside, basket good. Oh, we did a little too little celebration there. Getting these guys in the groove. I mean, Kingsway seems very comfortable right now. The three ball is good. William Roy checks in the game and immediately banks a three. It's 33-9. Foul is called.
Penns Grove's number 11, Roman Gibson. That'll be his second personal and the team's fourth.
It'll be again at the line, Micah Hart. Basket is good. $12 left in the first half. It's all Kingsway, 35-9. Back in the second quarter, Penns Grove being held at close distance here. Trying to get double-digit points on the board. We got a foul called here.
Fouls on Kingsway's number 5, Reese Tavares. That'll be his first personal, team's third.
It's the third foul against the Dragons as this pass goes over everybody. It'll be taken in. Penns Grove with possession. It's Robbins. Here we go, takeaway. They've got 2-on-1, they're outnumbered. Another slammer off the glass. Micah Hart getting himself some love at the rim here, 37-9. Hart over the double-digit mark. He's 4 for 4 from the charity stripe. Here we go, here's another steal. He could get another one. Man, this guy's just so good. I mean, he is fired up and stealing, scoring, almost like a Michael Carter Williams out there. I mean, he is just doing so much. Euro step doesn't go. And Kuzmic telling his guys to hold. Oh, okay. Yeah, he stepped out. Collier took the pass from the baseline. Stepped out. It'll be a turnover. 14 and a half seconds left. 39-9. It's a 30-point game. They are doing themselves well here tonight. 10 seconds. Oh my, they fooled him. They fooled him. The student section made him, oh my goodness, I have never seen that before. They actually tricked him into shooting the ball with 5 seconds left when they thought he only had 1. Oh my gosh. I feel so bad for that kid. Wow, 0.4 on the clock. First shot is good. And Damian Ware making sure he knows it. I think, just from his body language, I think what he's trying to say is do not let them get in your head. Because, I mean, I hear it sometimes as we go to the end of the half. I hear it sometimes where it's like the student sections are a couple seconds ahead to try to make you force a shot. I've never seen it work before. Man, what a way to end the half. Kingsway is up big at the halftime break. It is 39-10. Penns Grove with that 10 on the board. Kingsway with the 39. We'll be back in 10 minutes here on DWB.
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
It will be inbounded by Pat Monahan. Oh, the ball gets away. Who's going to have it? GCIT will hang on to the possession. It goes to Stanwood. Stanwood inside. They'll get the shot off. It's gone! Unbelievable! Boston calls the timeout, but will they get it? Unbelievable! Unbelievable! A double contest shot from Hellman! Wow. Ryan James wanted the timeout, but did they get it in time?
BB and Copsetta trading a couple looks. They know what's going on. Full count. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Just like they drew it up in Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons in the Ralph Shaw Classic 26th annual. They are back on top for the first.
Launches one foul. See, Mostero's doing us a service here. Or excuse me, D'Alessandro. D'Alessandro is doing us a service here. He's letting us have this conversation by having a long at-bat. But a lot of people are still caught up in the D1 or bust mentality. Listen to this crowd. Listen to this crowd. We'll talk about that later. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Clapping it up here for the Roadrunners. 2-2. Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! 3-run homer! D'Alessandro! And it's a 1-run game at the crack of the bat. 5-4. 3-run shot to center field. Trailing towards the right center, and the cleanup man does exactly what the position orders. Cleaning up. And he does it incredibly well with a 5-4 game. He battles for 11 pitches and makes
from Costa Camps. Williams Bay, bounce pass, fires it inside. Tully slams. He just postered him in broad day. Here in the third quarter, we've got all Kingsway tonight, 39-10. Man, you just feel bad for Penns Grove. I mean, they have done their best, but Kingsway is just outscoring them. Not only are they outscoring them, they're forcing them into more turnovers than I can count. And, I mean, the dunks, I think the exclamation point was that missed air ball 3 because the student section had gotten into the player's head to the point where he shot the ball like this with 6 seconds left. And, I mean, it's just unfortunate. I mean, Penns Grove is a very good team, but Kingsway is on another level. I mean, there's a reason why Penns Grove is the number 8 seed in South Jersey Group 1. They deserved it. They got a 6-game winning streak in January. They started off very well. But there is a difference between a team in the Tri-County Diamond and a Tri-County Royal, and I think that's what separates, you know, the good from the great here in Tri-County Flight A. I think that Penns Grove could have done themselves a better favor from the conference by being like a 2 or a 3 seed, maybe a 1 seed in Flight B, but Clearview's the 1 seed in Flight B. I think that they would have been served better that way because they are not being represented that well on the basketball floor tonight because I've seen them before. They're a good team. They brought Deptford right to the buzzer. They played well versus Pittman the last time we saw them. So it's not to say for a lack of effort. I mean, Penns Grove is a kind of team, like we said, Damian Ware is a very good head coach. This is a team that can beat you on the floor in terms of speed. I mean, they are a very fast team, and, you know, they don't have anybody above 6'3" on their team. Kingsway does. They've got 2 centers over that mark, Ellison and Tolley. And Tolley's thrown it down twice tonight, as you saw in a couple of replays earlier in the ballgame. So as we go into the second half, for Damian Ware, they just got to be calm. They can't let the students get into their head. They can't let the atmosphere get into their head, and they have to just play clean, polished basketball because that's what they haven't been doing. They've let Kingsway take advantage of them, and they have just let them run all over them. I'm going to get back behind the camera because we've got 16 more minutes of South Jersey basketball here in Flight A tonight. As it'll be Micah Hart. Oh, dangerously close to the backcourt line. Desir Williams-Bay with contact from Caesar. Caesar picks up his first. Kingsway with a win would improve to 21-4. Like we said, they had a 15-game winning streak from December all the way to the first few days of February. Went undefeated in the month of January. They are 8-0 in the Tri-County Royal. Oh, look out. That ball gets away. Turnover from Robinson. As we said, in the Tri-County Flight A bracket, the other 2 games going on is number 5 versus number 4, Gloucester Catholic versus Triton. And then you've got Timber Creek and Woodstown in the 3 versus 6 game. Basket no good. And that one's no good either. I apologize. The other game in Flight A, GC and Triton are in Flight B. Delsey and Pittman is the other game in Flight A. That game just tipped off a couple of minutes ago. Overbrook and Deptford tips off at 6. If we can get an update on Timber Creek and Woodstown, we'll let you know. There's a bounce pass. Tolley, slam. He's done that a couple times tonight. Oh, here we go. Halftime of the Timber Creek Woodstown game. Timber Creek up by 2, 20-18 at the half. So low scoring game down there in, what's that, Ariel? I think that's Ariel in Camden County. As part of the Black Horse Pike School District, he stepped on the back line. And Kuzmic maybe a little bit more comfortable here in the second half. He's now sitting down along with his assistants. That'll be a kickball violation. The student section wanting to say hello. They've done that twice tonight. They really are getting bored. Here comes Williams-Bay. Flying in is the Penns Grove defender, Luis Colon. Basket is good, though, 43-10. They'll just make me keep wanting to come back to Kingsway with this kind of flattery. Into the corner, again close to that backcourt, to the sideline, that is. Caesar moves in, now feeding it back out. Down to the elbow. Maybe had an extra step. Basket no good. Williams Bay now over. Or another right-handed lay is good. I mean, these guys are just dominating. You wonder when Kingsway is going to pull their starters because they obviously don't want Penns Grove to make any kind of a comeback. But if this is where the end of the road will be for Penns Grove in this tournament, I mean, like I said, Penns Grove by no means is a bad team. However, this is a poor representation of their style of play because Kingsway, I mean, these guys, like we said, Group 1, Group 4, the style of basketball is going to be very different. Group 1 basketball typically doesn't have a lot of big men. Group 4, Group 3s, they usually do, and the non-publics as well. So Group 1, from what I've seen, is a lot more focused on three-point shooting and speed. And what does Penns Grove do? They do three-point shooting and they do speed. So, I mean, Penns Grove has the right philosophy, but it's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. It might not work because you're trying to apply the same formula to something entirely different. And Kingsway plays a completely different brand of basketball. They have the speed, but they also have a 6'7" center and another backup forward who can take over for him. And, you know, like we said, this is a deep team. They've got at least 12 or 13 players on varsity. And one of the things that Coach Kuzmic posted on social media the other day I thought was really interesting, just looking over from stats from earlier in the season, you know, what really stood out to me, let's see if I can pull it up here, if I can find it. It'll be the second foul against Penns Grove.
Caesar, that's going to be his second personal and the team second. It'll be Kingsway possession underneath.
Back out to Tolly. Shoots a mid-range shot well off the mark. So, yeah, season stats. Kuzmic posted this, and he said, in all caps, balance. Desir Williams Bay, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. Reese Tavares, 10 points, 2.5 assists per game. TJ Collier, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Kai Tolly, 8 points, 6 boards, 2 blocks. Micah Hart, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. It's all even. They don't have a superstar. Williams is their leading scorer, but by no means is he a superstar on this team. We're going to stay on the air for a 30-second timeout, 47-12. This broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. Keep your pet happy and healthy today with the most organic food products available in South Jersey, along with toys, cages, accessories, and much, much more. You can either check in anytime because they're open 7 days a week at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon. Timeout was charged against Penns Grove. 47-12. Again, our next broadcast will be, looks like for now, on Thursday between Clayton and the winner of Cumberland and Shalleck in Flight C in the semifinal. And then I believe Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, I'll have to check again. Yeah, Saturday the 22nd is the conference semifinal. So if the game's at night, we might be able to make it. However, like we said, we do have doubleheader baseball between Immaculata and Rutgers Camden to kick off the season on Saturday. We also have ball hockey championships on Sunday, starting at 1 o'clock in Egg Harbor Township of the American Ball Hockey Alliance. The ABHA, that's blocked by Collier. Here goes Williams Bay, up. Oh! He just, he almost destroyed the glass with that one. Here comes another lob. As a bit disgruntled there, Tolly goes in for the block. Into the corner, a high heave across the way. Open look for 3 off the front of the rim. Well, I think this is kind of a sign here. Oh, we got a foul. Pretty much everybody is standing. Kingsway wants a technical. Collier is down. I was going to say Kingsway is bringing in 4 or 5 new faces. Flagrant call gets called against Penns Grove as Collier is being checked on here. It was either going to be a flagrant or a technical because, I mean, that's just one of those situations where it's just not a good situation. And Collier a bit shaken up, being attended to by Coach Kuzmic, 2 of the referees over there to make sure he's okay. The foul was charged against Caesar. It's his 3rd, team's 3rd. And Penns Grove already not having a great game in the scorebook. Going to have another blemish added with this flagrant. So Collier will go to the bench. And he would have gone to the bench anyway because 5 new Kingsway players are getting ready to sub in. So I'm not sure what the discussion still is because the referee's talking to Coach Kuzmic. So Owen Ellison will shoot the free throw shots. What the discussion was, I think, was that who was going to shoot the technical shots or for the flagrant shots. First one is good by the forward, Ellison. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be wrong on this, but I think in a situation like that, for uncontested free throws, like flagrants or technicals, when somebody is injured on the play and cannot take the technical shots, the person who replaces him has to be of the same position. That might, because Collier and Ellison would both take over as power forward or forwards, so they might have had to bring a forward to the line instead of a smaller guard who might be better at that, like Kuzmic or Johnson. We do have another 30-second timeout called. I could be completely wrong on that. I would need to look at the rules for that, but that's how I think it works in college and the NBA, is that in a situation like that where a technical or a flagrant gets called and you have the uncontested free throws, the person who is replacing the free throw shooter has to be of the same position for it to be fair. Because if somebody gets injured, you don't want to bring you can't bring your 95% free throw shooter to the line. You have to bring somebody who's going to be of similar caliber there. So I think that's what the discussion was, but I have never seen that before.
I know the rule in college is that uncontested free throws, the opposing coach gets to pick one of the remaining 4 players that were on the court at the time of the foul.
Okay.
Not 100% sure on the rule in the NBA or high school.
Yeah, good note, David, our producer for the night. Bringing his insight to the game here in a 49-12 matchup. That ball got swiped away. Last touch was by Penns Grove's number 15. Basket good. Kingsway over the 50-point mark. J.D. Johnson now in the game. It's Brady Shelton, J.D. Johnson, Owen Ellison, Luka Kuzmic, and Abdoulaye Berete. As Caesar moves in, fires this one into the corner, goes right through. And Jamil Horace turns the ball over. Again, like I said, Penns Grove is a good team. I mean, they're 11-11. They never, if they were 0-22, yeah, that would be a different story. It's going to go the other way here. But Kingsway gets called with, I'm sorry. Yeah, the offensive foul is on Berete. It is the 2nd team foul. But, yeah, where we stand right now, I think that Penns Grove is kind of getting a bad rap. Because, like I said, they are still a home seed in South Jersey Group 1. And that's the problem, is that these guys are just outmatched. You're playing a team like Kingsway that's in Group 4. They're playing in the big divisions of the Tri-County. They're playing GCIT, Clearview, Washington Township, Williamstown. Oh, that's a hard block. It will be called a foul, presumably on Ellison. No, Berete picks up the foul. That'll be his 3rd. I thought Ellison was the one who made contact there, but I was wrong. be Thomas at the line for two. Basket no good. Delsey and Pittman are tied at the end of the first quarter in a high-scoring affair, 15-15 after one. Second shot, no good. Heaves it down the floor. The referee has to duck for this three from Kuzmic. That's off the mark. And midway through the third quarter, seems like Kingsway's already starting to have fun with it. Shelton gets hit with a foul. Kingsway now at 4. Caesar at the line. Let's listen to this student section. First shot is good. I thought they were going to be a little bit louder than that. Second shot is no good. Johnson with a heave, catch and shoot, three! Luka Kuzmic turns to the crowd in front of him. 54-13. Here's an open three. Good from Caesar. Collier back to Johnson. Back over, here's a three, no good. By the way, the record for the fewest amount of points scored in a high school or college DWB basketball game is 29, scored by Cherry Hill East versus Cherokee in the first round of the playoffs of South Jersey Group 4 last February. Penns Grove now with their fourth foul. It's the first against 15, but that was a 32-29 game in the very classic Olympic Conference style of low-scoring basketball. And defense, oh, look out. Monday Night Raw has just hit the floor as, man, he fell right on top of him, J.D. Johnson. It'll put Kingsway over the foul limit. And now with 1:42 left in the third, bring him back to the line. Can't say I've seen that before. I mean, he basically just went for a straight takedown. Shot is good. They're telling them to start the buses rather early. 54-17. Cuts the gap with 2. Johnson. Full court press. Penns Grove making sure that Kingsway doesn't have it easy. Underhanded flip to Bayrete for 3. Getting Shelton to step back. Heaves it over into the corner. Airball it. Johnson. Ellison with another high pass. Bayrete gets fouled on the inside, and that will put Penns Grove over the limit. So we'll have bonus basketball for the next minute and 2 seconds. So Zay Thomas picks up his second. 6'1" sophomore guard. So Bayrete at the line. Combo guard senior.
misses his first. He has 45 points, 45 rebounds this year. He's been very even. That three-point shot was just his third triple of the year as Zane Thomas checks out after picking up his second foul. He put up a season-best 6 and 8 rebounds in a 14-point win over Williamstown in late December. Out of bounds with under a minute left in the third.
Less than a minute remaining in the third quarter. Under 1 minute to play in the third quarter.
57 seconds left after the inbound beyond half court to Johnson. Berete. Catch and shoot Shelton off the front of the rim. Underhanded flip again. Penns Grove creating some space on the offensive front. And a foul will be called. Looks like Kuzmic fell down. It is a blocking foul called against Kuzmic. The head coach, Kuzmic, disagrees. So Pearsall at the line for Penns Grove. Back behind that desk is Kingsway's baseball head coach and girls soccer head coach, Bill Alvaro. Trying to figure out what they're trying to say. I don't know what they're trying to say, but Bill Alvaro back behind the desk as Penns Grove makes their first shot. Tune in on Friday, March 14th for the Dan Wilkins Broadcasting Baseball Selection Show as we update you on the 39 high school baseball games that we'll be covering throughout the state of New Jersey. I don't say South Jersey because we've got a handful of games from all over the map in this upcoming season. It's Johnson firing it across the way on a full court press. Back to Ellison. Oh, look out. That ball got swiped away. 33 seconds remain. 57-20. Again, the lowest amount of points a team has scored in a high school season game on DWB was Cherry Hill East. They put up 29 in a loss to Cherokee. But that was a one-possession game, 32-29, and that was a basketball score. Could have been a football score for crying out loud. We got 15 seconds. Berete at the top of the key. Hands it off to Johnson as if it was football season. Johnson had over 400 rushing yards last year. That ball gets taken away. 6 seconds left. Crossing half court. Caesar. Oh, they got him again. They got him again. No good at the end of the quarter. And Ware is making sure he knows it. The second time tonight, Kingsway's student section has fooled a Red Devil with a fast operating clock. They made him go for a second time, and at the end of the third, it is 57-20, a 37-point lead for the Dragons. We'll be back in a minute. Here at the start of the fourth quarter, it's all Kingsway, 57-20. As Kingsway has a brand new floor in the game, much to the delight of the student section. I mean, this is an entire fourth quarter where they'll be resting their starters.
I mean, J.D. Johnson's a big bench piece, and he's not even in the game. It's over the head of Robbins. Guarded by number 14, Ryan Maggi, the senior. Underhanded lay, not going to get an and one. On the floor for Kingsway is number 33, Czar Witherspoon. Number 34, don't have him in my book. Number 14, Ryan Maggi. Number 22, Greg Campbell. And that's what we got at the moment. And number 24, Dylan Lewis. First free throw made. Again from Brandon Robbins. 5'8" sophomore guard. 172 points this year, 39 steals, just averaging under 2 steals per game. Witherspoon, bounce pass to Maggi, another full court press. Keeps it in, but not long enough for Kingsway to lose the possession. It's Lewis. Back over to Witherspoon. He's got an open look for 3. No good. They're doing it again. Well, this time it doesn't do anything because you've got 7 minutes left. I think they're just doing it for comedic effect now to see if they can get them to go again. The problem is that the guy that took those shots, Caesar, is no longer on the floor. Here's a 3 from Lewis. Good. Nothing but net there. I mean, this has just been one of the best games Kingsway's played in the second half. I mean, I will even admit that even though they held Penns Grove to 10 points at the end of the first half, they still didn't play that great of a first half. It just happened to be that Penns Grove was playing a little bit worse than them. I mean, that first half was not great. And I'll say that just as an objective, figure here, it was not great. And Penns Grove was turning the ball over. Kingsway was traveling, and it just was not what you wanted to see. And the score was so lopsided that we kind of looked past it. But really, this second half has been a lot better for Kingsway, mostly because they haven't had their starters in the game. Feeding it out. Got a foul that will be called against Witherspoon. Oh, no, never mind, Lewis. Already 3 fouls for Kingsway here in the fourth. So we said our next broadcast will be Thursday, Clayton and the winner of Cumberland and Shalleck in the semifinal round of Flight C. They're counting them down again. There's 6 minutes on the clock. I mean, I don't think they're going to get them. And by the time, as that shot is missed by Witherspoon, by the time the clock runs down this time around, Penns Grove probably won't have the ball. Kingsway will hang on to it, and the game will be over. So, I don't know. Carson Pearsall picks up a foul, his first, team's first. Czar Witherspoon will go to the line for 2. As that was a foul in the act of shooting. First shot is off the front of the rim. Second shot good, 62 to 22. Or no, 61 to 22, my bad. Robbins backpedaling, now moving inside, back out into the corner. Luis Colon, who recently checked into the game, just looking for an opportunity, feeds it back out to the top of the key. Floater from inside the paint, no good. Here comes a opportunity for Witherspoon, and it's good. You could see Brady Shelton's mouthing, why didn't you dunk it? Probably because it's a 40-point game. Kingsway doesn't want to be disrespectful. Costa Camps misses. And that basket is no good. Kingsway preventing every chance down the floor, and Penns Grove not doing themselves any favors. 63 to 22. As this game is all but settled in the final 5 minutes. Should be a relatively quick fourth quarter. Knock on wood. Next thing you know, Kingsway will go over to foul limit. We'll have like 20 free throws at the end. Do have a sub coming in for Penns Grove, number 4, Will Roy. Back out into the corner for Robbins. Pump fakes, back pedals, across the volleyball line. Another bounce pass into the corner. They're doing it again. He turned his head. Cologne setting a screen. Back to Costa Camps. I mean, they are just putting it on Penns Grove. Basket good, falls in for Roy.
Basket's good by number 4, William Roy III.
Contact. Right-handed lay. Amari Richmond will check in and will get himself a basket. Basket good from Penns Grove. So again, just some back and forth scoring here down the floor to tail end. We'll say this broadcast is brought to you by the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Pro Wrestling, South Jersey's best premier pro wrestling organization, with high-flying action and nonstop entertainment and events throughout the Garden State. For more information, visit dawgprowrestling.com for future events and ticketing. Also, this broadcast is brought to you by Vincent's Lawn Care. Spring is right around the corner. Get the front, get the back, get the shrubs, get anything you need covered under Vincent's Lawn Care. Call today for weekly, bi-weekly, or anytime care. There's a siren going off in the gym. Oh, a kid got caught with a megaphone. I thought maybe a fire alarm was going off, but security had to come and take away a megaphone from one of the kids that was up there. Not a part of the student section, but foul shot is no good. I was curious what that sound was. I thought it was maybe like a security alarm or something, but
I thought it was something that the scorer's table was playing.
No, it wasn't loud enough to really be a part of that, but it sounded like it was coming from one of the walls, like it was a fire alarm or a security alarm. 2-point basket good from Penns Grove. They're putting on the pressure in the corner. Jump ball. Our first of the day. But as I was saying, as I was finishing up that ad, you can call Vincent's Lawn Care 609-413-0403. By the way, at the break in Tri-County Flight A in the 5-4 game, Pittman leads Delsey 28-27. Richmond again, basket good, 69 points for Kingsway. 2:40 left in the ball game. Cologne goes in, gets fouled. By the way, heading to the fourth quarter, midway through the fourth quarter in Timber Creek and Woodstown. Timber Creek leads by 7 in the 6-3 game. 39-32 is the score. Cologne makes his first. Penns Grove will get the bonus for the remainder of the game as Kingsway quickly gets over the limit. They pick up their 5th. That puts Penns Grove over 30 now. I mean, Penns Grove right now just working on full court presses. So Penns Grove picks up their 2nd foul.
Just chiming in here real quick. For Penns Grove, the time you get back on the bus, this game's got to be washed because in just over a week, you're hosting a playoff game. There's chances to still win this season. this game, yes, it's a tournament, you want to win, but at the end of the day, does it really mean anything?
I mean, the way I see it is that I think Penns Grove needs to. I agree with you that they need to make sure that this game is a wash in their hearts and minds, because you're playing a team that's 20-4. You're 11-11. Again, there's a lot to be proud of. Tournaments and brackets became official today. You're a home seed in South Jersey Group 1 for the third straight year. 3-ball by Witherspoon off the mark, but I agree with you there, David. Our producer for the night has done an excellent job with us this year. I mean, that's what I think they should get out of this, is that they've had some really embarrassing moments tonight, but they cannot let that affect them going into the playoffs. They've got a couple more regular season games. I mean, this is a bad result, but you're playing Kingsway. Again, this is a good Group 1 versus a very good Group 4. We've seen Penns Grove, I saw them play versus Deptford. They played incredibly well in that game. They lost at the buzzer 63-60. And they played well versus Pittman the other time we saw them this year. And I said it like over and over again, 6-game winning streak against some quality teams like Burlington City and Woodstown. And guess what? Guess who's in Flight A of this bracket? It's Woodstown. So not entirely out of the ordinary to say that Penns Grove's just getting a bad roll here. And, you know, if they were in Flight B as a high home seed, I think they would have done better for themselves. But unfortunately, there's only so much real estate in this tournament for home seeds. You know, what do? Do you move up? There was already some controversy with the seeding where Washington Township was the 1 seed in Flight B. Then they got moved down to the 5 all the way to the 1. Just a lot of confusion. Robbins checks out of the game in a 73-31 game. As Witherspoon will bring it to Richmond. 1:15 to play. Ragby. Here comes a steal and a breakaway. Maybe had an extra step. Basket good. As Madge, look out, going to have a travel called.
Traveling violation against Kingsway. Just over 1 minute remaining in the fourth quarter. Over 1 minute remaining.
Back over for 3. Good.
Carson Pearsall for 3.
Oh, look out. Ball's getting passed around like a hacky sack. And the basket is good. 73-39. The flashlights are starting to ring. 28 seconds left. Penns Grove with another open look. And that should be the last possession of the night, as Kingsway giving a cordial goodbye to Penns Grove as they'll be on their way to the semifinal round of the Tri-County Tournament. Now, whether they play Timber Creek or Woodstown is unknown, but what we do know is that their first round game was won with dominance and with authority. A 30-point victory on their home floor. That makes it 21 wins for the Dragons as they take down the Red Devils 73-43 here in the first round of the Tri-County Tournament, Flight A. Again, we'll see if we can get updates from that Timber Creek Twitter account to see if they beat Woodstown. Last I checked, it was 39-32 going into the fourth quarter. So we'll see what happens there. Either way, like I said, and David, you chimed in with it in the fourth quarter, this was not a good representation of what Penns Grove basketball is. They're a 500 team. They're the 8 seed in South Jersey Group 1, but here's the problem. Kingsway is a Group 4 school that just will beat you at every turn, and, you know, they are almost unforgiving with how good they are. And I think Penns Grove will do quite well for themselves in the playoffs, but they are a Group 1 team. They separate these guys into different brackets for a reason, and it's just a different kind of event when you're playing a team like Kingsway. It was a tall order for them to begin with, and Penns Grove was just unfortunately unable to really put themselves in a winning position. They had a lot of turnovers. They had a lot of fouls. They had a bit of mental lapses with their with those 3-point shots with like 6 seconds left. It happened twice. I mean, I think that they let the other team get in their head, and they just did not allow themselves to have a clear state of mind on the way to the win. And it just, it's unfortunate because that's a very hard thing to coach the players. You can teach the player how to dribble. You can teach the player how to shoot, but you cannot properly teach the player unless you know somebody who does it well or unless you do it in the right way. It is a very, very hard thing to teach a player mental discipline. Sometimes that is just something that comes naturally. Sometimes that is just something that you get with your upbringing. That's something that's taught through psychological things. I mean, we see it in NCAA basketball, in the NBA. Players crash out. They have these, emotional moments. They let either the other team or their own thoughts or their own reservations and angers and, kind of negative pathos, they let it all get into their head, and then it culminates. It builds, and then it boils over. So the fact that Penns Grove didn't get themselves into too much trouble, there could have been a lot that went wrong after that flagrant foul in the third quarter, but they let it stay cool because they knew, well, first of all, you don't want any players getting suspended. You don't want any, because first of all, if they didn't win this Tri-County flight game, well, guess what? They've still got a regular season to finish, and they've still got a playoff game versus Burlington City next Thursday. So I'm glad that Penns Grove did what they could, but, I mean, Kingsway's just a different animal. That's why they're the 2 seed in this tournament. There's very little you can do to stop a team like this. That'll be all for us tonight here from the Dragon's Den in the South Gym. It is a 30-point final, 73-43 is the final tally from tonight's game. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Alex Pollock, my producer and quasi-color commentator tonight, David Cohen. I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you on Thursday from Clayton for another Tri-County matchup in the C bracket, this time between either Cumberland or Shalleck and the Clayton Clippers. Have a good one, folks.